Welcome to The Funnel. My name is John Shane. I'm president of Alignment Group. This is episode number 268 of The Funnel. 6 reasons why everyone needs sales training. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to head on over to alignment-group.com/The Funnel and subscribe. If you subscribe to The Funnel, on the thank you page there's a coupon code for the online sales training class. The online sales training class is discounted it will be discounted on our website, kind of a kickoff price, but you get an even bigger discount than that. So it brings it down from, I think, $279 to $99 for the class. So if you write down that coupon code and then just click the link there, and if you decide you want the class, you just put in that code. And for now, the only people that know about this class are subscribers and people that listen to the funnel, because it's not on our website yet. And that should be coming up here in the next week or so. But we did sort of this soft launch to subscribers. We've had some really good feedback on it, so we're excited about it, and we're going to keep the discount going for a while because it's worked. So folks are excited and signing up, and we love that. So thank you. Our agenda today: communication skills, understanding people, problem solving, strong relationships, demonstrating value, and listening skills. So let's talk about communication skills. My favorite, one of my favorites. Great salespeople are good communicators, right? We know that. And I'm not talking about the personality side, because I get a lot of that. So marketing folks have often been told they would make great salespeople because they're just really good communicators and good conversationalists. And I've mentioned my former partner, Lindsay. She'll pretty much talk to anybody and has met so many people and had so many interesting conversations when we used to take our business trips together. It was kind of funny. She would just talk to everybody, but the sales skill set wasn't quite where it needed to be. And we worked on that for a while, and really it's improved. And she's with her new venture now, Prospect Builder, and they're just tearing it up. And I think a lot of the reasons why is, well, she's good at what she does, but I think she's also evolved in her skill sets in sales, and it's helped her drive new business for the company she's the president of. And she works with salespeople and marketing people and has this really great communication style. And all good salespeople have it. So she's an example of somebody that evolved her skills and improved even her communication skills. So I think that's helpful. It's not just about having a conversation with somebody and getting to know them as you're sitting next to them at an event and swapping cards and the next time you see them, giving them a hug and buying them a cup of coffee. It's really about what it takes to drive new business. And good communicators have really good questioning skills, right? And we talk about this in our sales training class. The ability to ask the questions and layer the questions to get people to open up, right? And so you can develop a real understanding of exactly what's going on with them. You say, well, why is that important for everyone to have that? Really? Do we need to ask that? How many times do you get in meetings and the meetings are endless? They just go on forever and they talk about nonsense. Nonsense conversations, nonsense discussions, nonsense arguments, right? People are talking about nonsense. Nothing ever gets done. And I'm certain there's a lot of people out there that could say, yeah, that happens. Now, this for the salespeople, when you get in meetings like that, internal meetings in your company, or you're part of a management group like I was in my previous life, from sales manager to VP, and you're in these senior level meetings and there's these circular conversations. Nothing ever comes of it. And you leave thinking, there are people that walk out of there that think it's going to be this great thing. And I'm saying to myself, this isn't going anywhere, because people didn't have the communication skills. They didn't know how to ask the right questions to get to the point, to understand exactly the pain that somebody's going through. So if you're working on a project, or you're developing or you're talking about bringing in a new software system, an ERP, or whatever it is that you're doing in your company, wouldn't it be great to nail down those communication skills? Next, understanding people. Now, there are those folks that, have a really high emotional intelligence, that can read people and understand people. And I can tell you, after meeting folks and spending a few minutes with them, I can tell you what kind of person they are. I mean, I can read people pretty well, but I've been doing this for a long time. And I've been through every kind of course, and I've had every kind of assessment possible. So I've spent time on that in my life. And I know people. But you've heard the term, it takes a village. Well, in a company, you can't get anything done without other people. So if you're working in a department and you're working with people that are different than you, how are you going to work with them if you don't understand them? Maybe they have a different background, different education, different culture. There's a lot of things that go on in people's lives before they get to you at work, before they become part of your work environment. Some companies aren't really good at doing the whole team fit thing. So how are you going to manage that if you don't understand people? You don't know about people. Well, sales teaches you that. Why? Because you can't pick your prospects. Now, you say, well, I can prospect and I can find. You know what I mean. Yes, you pick your company, you go after it, you drive prospect opportunities, you eventually make a connection, and boom, off to the races. But you can't pick that person that's in charge of that purchasing decision. You can't pick their culture, their background, their personality. You can't, well, I want somebody who's like me. Well, it doesn't work that way. And what I mean like you, like personality-wise. They're easy to talk to, they're open. There's some people that are very closed, very to the point. So sales teaches you to work with others because you have no choice. You can't just say, well, I'm not going to work with them because they're hard to talk to. That's an opportunity at business, and you want to drive that business. So I mentioned the DISC assessment here because the DISC assessment is a really good tool to understand not only how you communicate and where your strengths and weaknesses lie and the type of person you are, but it helps you to recognize other people and how they communicate. And if you understand how people communicate and you understand where they're coming from and you can walk in their shoes a little bit and have some empathy for who they are and how they think, you'll be amazed at how much movement you get with folks. Now, I'm not just saying that in the business world. That'll help you in your personal life too. When you understand people, you get movement. So as a company, we have people doing different jobs in different parts of the company, in different roles, interacting not only in their department, but other departments. Wouldn't it be nice to understand where they're coming from? One of the things that we do, and we teach in our onboarding program, is to have some empathy for other departments. So you get a lot of complaints from other departments when you're in sales, right? Sales reps never do this right. They never do that. All they do is leave the office and play golf and go to lunches and have fun. And we know it's different. But walk in their shoes for a day. Understand where they're coming from. Learn about their division because it's going to help you in making your decisions and communicating and getting things done internally. So we teach salespeople that. Do they teach people from other departments that? Probably not. They never thought it was necessary. So understanding people. Next is problem solving. Okay, problem solving is a pet peeve of mine. Okay, you can pretty much ask anybody that's ever worked for me or any of my offspring. I don't want you to come to me with your problem. I want you to come to me with your problem and a couple of suggestions on how to resolve that problem. I want you to think of a creative solution to solving that problem. No one's solving the customer's problem by themselves, right? So salespeople are taught to help them find a solution. Hopefully it's your product or service. A good salesperson, if it's not, will tell them that and give them a direction to head in. But if it is your product and service, you have to come up with some creative solution with the customer to solve that problem. So your people skills come into play here. Your communication skills come into play here. Your problem-solving skills come into play here. It's all about critical thinking. So sometimes you have to get pretty creative on your solutions to get movement from the client, because you spend a lot of time uncovering needs and pain points and all the people that are involved. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot of chess pieces, as my friend Bill used to say, a lot of chess pieces to solving a problem. Well, sales teaches that. It helps you to manage that. I used to say to my sales reps, they would come in and tell me they'd have a problem. Like, great. Part of what I was teaching them, not only through the sales training, but in my one-on-one coaching, was to think for themselves a little bit, problem solve. I know they're coming to me because they're looking for my expertise and my experience, and I'm willing to give that, but I want to hear what they've come up with. What is your solution? How do you think we should solve this? What do you think is going to work here? Right? Who does that? I mean, everybody. Teachers, good teachers do that. Good professors do that. Therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists do that. They help you solve your problem. They help you by critical thinking. They give you suggestions. They ask questions, but they want to hear what you have to say to solve that problem. You don't walk into a therapist and say, hey, listen, this is my problem. And they go, okay, these are the 5 things you have to do. Leave my office. Now your problem is solved. It doesn't work that way. And it doesn't work that way in business. So imagine you're on a large project or even a small project, and you're working with multiple people from multiple departments and some people in your department. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of communication. That's a lot of people skills. Wouldn't it be great to have that problem-solving skill as well? If there's anything in this world that irks me more, it's somebody that doesn't attempt to solve the problem. So, like I said, you can ask people who work for me, my own kids. You come to me and say, I can't do it. Well, what did you do to solve it? Nothing. Why are you here? So I go back to, and I've mentioned this in another podcast, War Dogs, the movie. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty good. Bradley Cooper, when he's on the phone, he says something to the effect of, you guys need to understand the difference between we have a problem and you have a problem. It's kind of true, right? Now, he didn't help them brainstorm to find that solution, but it's a really good statement. Like, okay, you want me to help you solve this, but you're not contributing. So from my perspective, sales training helps you become a better problem solver. And that is a skill set that's transferable to other parts of the company and to your personal life. So why wouldn't you want those internal folks to have that skill set and ability and training? Strong relationships. Some of the best salespeople out there build very strong relationships with people. I spend a lot of time on relationships and relationship building in our sales training class, in our online sales training class. I think it's really important to understand how to build strong relationships. You know the old saying, people buy from people they like. Right? There's a guy out there that says always be helping. And it's true. If you want to drive business and sales, people have to like you and you have to like them. That doesn't mean you need to be their best friend. So people often confuse strong relationship with best friend or friendship. Well, they're my friend. I can't charge them more. They're your customer, and it costs more to do this. So we need to do that. And a strong relationship, if you have a strong relationship, they're going to understand that. So if you want to get movement internally in a company, isn't it better to have a strong relationship than to bully somebody? It's not easy to get things done. It's not easy to get movement. But if you want to get movement with people, build strong relationships. Best salespeople have the best relationships because people don't buy from you just because your price is better, your product's better. They buy from you. That's where it starts. If they trust you and they like you and you build rapport with them, they're going to buy from you. So if somebody trusts you and they like you and they have a good rapport internally, how do you think that's going to play? Or maybe you're buying from a vendor, right? You want to have those relationship skills. So again, this is another area that's a skill set that's transferable. So people will often pick different verticals and say, well, they don't have really good personalities because they're quote unquote an accountant. I don't buy that. I know plenty of accountants that have great personalities and have good relationships with people. And I know plenty that don't. I mean, it's just the way it is in every business. So why wouldn't you want to teach your people internally how to do some of these things, how to build strong relationships, and why it's important? Again, sales training does that for you. Demonstrating value. Okay, you're trying to get an idea or a project or something off the table, or you're a manager in another department, and you're clearly communicating what it is that you want to get done. How do you demonstrate value? We're taught right from the beginning, have that value proposition in sales. We have to be able to show the value we're bringing to the table, or we're not going to get anywhere. Okay? You're building relationships, you're looking after the customers, you're always helping, you're doing all these things, and you're understanding people. But if you can't get that value across, then you're going nowhere. The same internally at companies. If you're not building that value as you're trying to work through a project or meeting with your employees or all of these other things, you have some idea you want to push. If you're not demonstrating value or you don't have the skill set to do that, a lot of really good ideas go away. And I've brought ideas to the table that people think, there's no way that's going to work. And I had to work my way into demonstrating value. I worked for a company that didn't have a marketing department. I had to demonstrate that value. It took some effort, meeting with a senior management group and putting it out there. I could tell you 10 or 15 things that, because of my ability to do that got done, that are still being used today in companies that I've worked for. So imagine different people in different departments having that skill set. A lot of good things will happen. And people know value when they see it. They've been trained on value. When someone's blowing smoke, they can weed it out. So you're not doing things that you shouldn't be doing. Listening skills. Okay, now this is the final one. And this one, and there's a ton more you can put into this podcast, but there's only so many minutes, and there's only so many minutes you're going to listen, right? So I can't put a 4-hour podcast out there on why sales training is important for everybody in your company. But I spend a lot of time in the sales training on listening skills, questioning, everything that's in here. I focus on questioning skills, part of the qualifying process, how to do that properly. But listening is extremely difficult for most people. Most people like to talk, and when they're not talking, they're thinking about what they're going to say. I hope you're laughing at that because you do it too. Everybody does it. It takes a tremendous amount of listening skill set to not do that, to really focus on what the other person is saying. And then when you regurgitate that back to them and you summarize, they respect that. So when I used to do this podcast with Lindsay, I'll bring her up again. She used to go through these sort of heavy marketing things. And I'd be sitting there listening intently and writing notes down. And then at the end of everything she said, I would recap it. I would say, so what you're saying is this. And I would give like Cliff Note version of it, like key points. And after we'd stop recording and stuff, we'd laugh at it because I hit it every time. And that's when I would talk to her about listening skills and how I had to work very hard on that, given the attention deficit and the dyslexia and all the good stuff that goes along with that. So it's something that you have to develop and evolve with. Now, sure, you can get listening skills anywhere, but sales pays particularly good attention to that, sales training. And part of the bigger package of relationship developing, good questioning skills, communication skills, demonstrating value, they all piece together. And listening is primary as far as I'm concerned. The vast majority the people in this world do not do a good job of listening. Good, really good salespeople listen. And if you listen, people will tell you everything. I was a young sales rep when somebody told me that on a sales call, a senior level rep. He said to me, if you listen long enough, they'll tell you everything. That's huge. People are uncomfortable with the uncomfortable silence. They feel the need to keep talking. Sales skills help you, and sales training helps you be comfortable with the uncomfortable silence. It shows you're interested when you're able to communicate to folks back what they've said to you. Well, if I'm listening to this right and I'm hearing you right, this is what you've said to me. This is where your problem lies. This is what, yes. Okay, I got it. None of us are perfect at it. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. But sales training provides that. The funny part about sales training is it is a unique world selling. We're unique people in a unique world in sales. We're pretty much hanging out there without a safety net every day of our lives. The skill sets that needed to be successful in that really do cross over into other areas of the company. And I highly recommend that people who are in other roles in the company do some sales skills training. Now, they're going to tell you they don't need it, just like, kids going to tell you they don't need algebra when they're grown up. What do I need this for? Well, yeah, you sort of need a lot of that math. You just don't know it yet. And you'll need those skill sets as you begin to evolve in your career, whatever it is. Anybody that's customer facing absolutely should have it. Absolutely should have it. And here's one final point on sales training, and then we'll move on. One final point. That if you want understanding and empathy for the job that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis as a salesperson or a sales manager or VP of sales, put the other people in your shoes. Let them go through the training. Let them see what it's like. And then maybe spend some time in the field with you or on calls. Then they'll get a better picture of what it takes to be successful. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/alignment group. I'm on Twitter @ShayJohnR, and LinkedIn, of course. You can connect with me there. Contact us. You can email me, jshay@alignment-group.com, and I do respond. Our website is alignment-group.com, and don't forget to subscribe to the funnel and get that coupon code for the sales training class. That's what I was going to say. I was trying to think if I needed to say anything else, and I absolutely don't. So, until next time, keep filling the funnel.